roof lines, they can seem more complex than they are. So in many cases, I really just start very, very simply. So I'm often thinking almost two-dimensionally. So if I'm going to build, let's say, a roof, again, I'll sort of literally start with a basic shape. So I'll just go to a plane, just literally make it a single poly plane. And so for roof lines, we can take, let's say, an edge like this, collapse edge to center, right? And then you can alter the peak. Okay, rotate it 90 degrees, extrude it out. Take the object. This is an okay, I would say, use case typically for Booleans. So sometimes, yeah, there's kind of complex roof lines. So let me just center this pivots. Yeah, I'll scale it a bit wider. Okay, so I'll hold shift and rotate, which will create a duplicate. So this roof line seems like it's a fair bit chunkier over here, just for this section. Yeah, let's bring it in, and there does seem to be kind of another slope there. So again, we can kind of just take this in a bit, right? So just simple scaling, simple mesh, right? It can go kind of a long way in terms of your production. Yeah, this face I'll scale flat because that's kind of the way it appears over here. I'll just take these faces in a bit there. So if you needed to, you could connect them via Booleans, as I mentioned. I don't necessarily mind too if there's a bit of overlap. That's also okay. Okay, so in terms of creating, shingles and tiles and stuff, and even things that may be more complex, if we're looking at, let's say, pagoda roof. All right, these kind of like really ornate, complex patterns. I'll sort of show you how we can kind of build these or warp these. Sometimes I will take, like shapes like spheres and again, Boolean them together to kind of create the pattern, or I'll have a template. So what I mean by that is, let's say I take a sphere. And I'll just move the pivot off a bit. Hit Control D. We rotate 90 degrees. Shift D, Shift D. So we take these, mesh Boolean union, delete history. I'll take the object and just flip the display, reverse. Shading, I'll just go and turn on backface cull. So you can sort of see, hopefully, the formation of a unique shape, right? So yeah, let's maybe go through here. Okay, so we kind of have this like, unique structure, let's say, for a roof. Take this, maybe the large Boolean selection. Oh, sorry, not Boolean, a large soft selection, I should say. Go to multi-cut. And this is just a rough template, so nothing perfect yet. Multi-cuts across here. Okay. Let's just take these verts off. Okay. Just worry about this. Okay, there we go. So that's kind of the beginnings of this sort of stylized roof, right? Okay, so if you're building like sheets of things, then usually what I recommend is like figure out the pattern. So in the case of like simple shingles, we can start with a basic cube. Okay. I don't recommend, if you have lots of roof tile and shingles to do, like shingles being like, there's shingles that are roof shingles, okay? And then there's also shingles that kind of go sometimes on the sides of a building itself. So ultimately, I would sort of keep these as simple as possible. I wouldn't add too many extra divisions to this because, you have to think about this. This could be multiplied dozens into hundreds of times, right? So every extra edge you add adds that much more in the poly count. So for me, I do the simple kind of way of just going Shift D to create duplicates. Okay. Then I'll grab all these, hold Shift and drag, offset, give a little overlap. Then I'll grab this, Shift drag it the same approximate amounts, and then Shift D. So at this point, I'll take all of these. By the way, you can UV this. I would probably recommend just UVing the first one. I'll go to, what's it called? Bonus tools. Modify, random transform. I usually use the advanced one. The basic one's fine, but have random rotation, which can make things look nice and chaotic, right? But if you zero in, I think in this case, I don't want so much on the X axis or even the Z, maybe just a little bit. So you can kind of dial in the amount of effect you want. So let me just take a look here. Yeah, let's just have it be a little more subtle. Right, so they're all kind of a little off, a little bit wonky, And of course, the more dilapidated, you can start kind of like deleting some of the shingles and stuff, right? So it looks a little rougher. So yeah, once that's basically done, I usually then combine this into a single sheet. So I'll say combine. And then if you need to warp this to, like I said, a specific surface or shape, right? I'll go into deform, nonlinear, deform, lattice, and I'll go into the options. Right now there's kind of an X, Y, Z for divisions. I usually hit apply just to kind of see it. And right now there's a ton of divisions here, which is the 5 here. So I set this to 2. I'll undo, set it maybe to 3 by 3 or 4 by 2 by 4. And I'll hit apply. Okay, so this now gives you pretty much like a giant grid for warping the shape. So if I, let's say, grab the corners, you have to right click and go to lattice points, by the way, to access that. I'll shift click and drag these. I do want to, by the way, go into it's called FFD1. You want to make sure this is local is turned off, and I'll show you why in a second. So if I grab this up, it's just like very angular, right? So this is okay, but it's not great. But if I turn off local, you see it becomes much more of a curved, right, surface. So you can get these like really complex, ornate surfaces, right? Same thing, let's say I want it to like taper in. I can take the top set, for example. Oops, sorry, let me grab that. And then I could scale these in, right? I can create curvature this way, right? So it's really, really interesting. So that's how you can get these like really, really kind of complex tiling, repeating, overlapping patterns, right? And have them fit in. And then you might also think like, well, how do I get some of these archways and stuff, let's say in the pagoda roof here, right? So these archways that follow the curves, sometimes I'll literally just take, like I said, the edges here, for example. I should clean these up better, but just as an example, take this, okay? Remember, modify, convert, poly edge to curve. I'll leave it on linear, convert. Oh, this might be a little bit broken actually, I think, because of the mesh here. Let's see. Yeah, I'll try maybe merge to center. So I'm just going to do a little bit of cleanup here. Okay, I'll take this and try again. Modify. Converts polygon edges to curve. Linear converts. Yeah, it looks like it's, for some reason it's only doing one edge, but let's see why. Yeah, sometimes too, this is the problem with Booleans, right? They get kind of messy. So sometimes I'll do a cleanup just to make sure there's no kind of weirdness in the model. Again, good idea to do delete history. Oh, there we go. See the curve. Modify, center pivots. Yeah, it's still kind of a broken line. But the point is typically, yeah, if you have, let's say, a curved edge, I'll try maybe one on this sort of flatter surface just because I think it's probably cleaner in here. Modify converts polygon edge to curve. Okay, so I do have, yes, this curvature here. So what we can do with that now, right, is literally just going to sweep. And if the profile is simple, right, let's say it's more like rectangular, then we can scale it up, and you've got essentially like your curves here for a sloping roof line. So you're really just using the template of the shape of this exotic roof to create the additional shapes that you might need. So the interesting thing about this as well is that if this is sort of centered, you can, oops, let me just grab this, modify, center pivot, hit D. I'm going to hold V just to sort of snap this to the top vertex here. So hit Control D and then rotate, and you can have kind of your complex roof line now, you know, using these shapes, okay? So you're just kind of using the existing mesh as your template.